So if we have this trust, this hope, and this love, then we know, we understand what life is. We understand it by entering into it, by encountering mystery. That's one way in which one can point towards what life is. It's an encounter with mystery. It's a continuous encounter with mystery. And that is presence. Presence is encounter. Presence is something very different from side-by-sideness. Side-by-sideness becomes presence by encountering the other. Encounter and presence are very closely connected. And I'm speaking now about presence as experienced, as being present to another. And not only being present to another, but being present to the water we drink, and to the flowers we see, and to everything that comes our way. Everything, every person, every animal, every plant, every situation in life open for encounter. Then that's presence. That's being in the presence. St. Augustine says, heart speaks to heart. That is presence. When heart speaks to heart, when we open our heart, we make it vulnerable by opening it. And making it vulnerable means saying, I am through you, so I. That's a wonderful line by E.E. Cummings. I am through you, so I. So I'm through you, not only so good, so beautiful, so whatever it may be, but so I. That I can even say I is the gift of you. You precedes the I. Of course, that is not only the human you that we encounter, but that is the mystery as you. And that is the very mysterious reality that although we live and move and have our being in this divine mystery that we call life, that we experience as life, even though we live and move and have our being in it, it's not separate from us. Yet, within that living and moving and being, it has a direction. The mystery has a heart. The heart of the mystery, and heart speaks to heart there too. And when I say I am through you, so I mean that great mystery. That great mystery. It's not sort of a summation of all the human I and thou relationships that we have. And you might think, well, it just adds all up and then it becomes blurry. And so when I say I am through you, so I mean all these yous that I have met in my life, beginning with my mother or caretaker when I was a baby. Yes, that too, but we all have a story. Life is a story. We experience life as a story, not as a sequence of episodes. It's a story, a life story. And we want to tell that story to somebody. And the more we love somebody, the more we want to tell them everything, tell them that whole life story. And when we are lucky, it gets some way, but it never completely comes. We never find a human being who completely understands that story, because it's made for the heart of mystery. Henry Nouwen, probably many of you know his books, he used to his students loved him very much, and when he came back from a trip or so, he would always bring slides. That was still the time when you brought all these slides. And then he make a little slideshow of his tour. And the students would be patient until about slide number 35 or so, and then it got a little boring. And, and Henry Nouwen said, I know what heaven will be like. I'll arrive and God will say, Henry, here you are, show me your slides. That's what all of us want. When we want somebody who wants to look at our slides, at the whole story. You see? And in that sense, we say, I am through you, so I. And that is what is ultimately behind presence as encounter. But then we have to ask, who is present? Who is that says he's present? Well, I would say, I am present. And when I am really pressed and want to emphasize, say, I myself. This is very interesting. We have two all of a sudden, I and myself. How are they related? Is that one? Apparently it's not two. I know it's one, but there seems to be another dimension to my I. And that is what I call the self. And we have again and again spoken about the self here. How can I find that self? Well, that's actually a rather easy experiment. We can all sit, as we are sitting now, and watch ourselves. You can watch yourself sitting there, listening to me. I watch myself sitting there, talking to you. We watch ourselves. Now, that is very strange, that we can watch ourselves. And maybe there's still somebody watching that watcher that's watching you. In that case, just go a little further back into the watcher, and suddenly you are the watcher whom nobody else can watch. You are the observer whom nobody else can observe. That's your self. You have reached yourself. And the I can be watched. The I is in time and in space, but the self is not in time and space. When you were a baby, you were yourself. And when you are 90 years old, you're the same self that you were when you were a baby. The self is not in time. And if it's not in time and space, otherwise it couldn't watch time and space, if it is not in time and space, it can't be divided. And that is a very important insight. There is only one self. We all share that one self. We are so different from one another. Even twins are so different from one another. Unique, each one of unique. Never again will that same person come that you are. And yet, the self, all of us have one self. And we live in this double realm. The poet Rilke calls it the double realm. In this double realm of time and eternity, time and now, of time and self. And if we hold this together, I myself, be holding together the time and space and something that goes infinitely beyond time and space. Today is the first Sunday in the month, and on the first Sunday of the month, we always have at the monastery a puppet show for the children. We have a special service for children and then a puppet show. And in Austria, these puppet shows are very popular. And one monk might be playing with one hand the princess and with the other hand the crocodile that wants to eat the princess. this is how I imagine the self. You see? The one self is playing all these many roles that we are. And if you keep that in mind, even if you are the princess and you're encountering now the crocodile, it will be a very different experience if you know, basically, there's just one self for both of us. We just play different roles. And to keep that in mind, that although we are all one in the self, we have to play these different roles and play them well. We are given these roles. We are given a script that is much more detailed than we usually think. It's a very detailed script. There's very little that you can change. I don't know how much you can change at all. But the most important thing you can do differently, you can live it with trust in life and lovingly, with trust and hope and love. Or you can live it against the grain. And that is a failed life. But a life that you play, no matter how clearly the role is given to you. I will play this role now with trust. And then the present is that moment in which you now encounter what life gives you, this opportunity, this present moment. And in this present moment, life offers you many, many different opportunities.